Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Y&R Trends. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. This week, the tension in The Young and the Restless reaches a breaking point as Nick Newman discovers something startling that might ruin his son's life and plunge Genoa City into a whirlwind of controversy. Starts out innocently enough, or at least it appears that way. Following a string of unexplained injuries and terrible incidents related to his relationship with the mysterious Sienna Bacall, Noah Newman has been recovering in a Los Angeles hospital. However, what Nick discovers in that sterile, barely lit hospital hallway will make him angry, devastated, and more desperate than ever to keep his family safe from the insanity that is encroaching on them. The unsettling image of Noah and Sienna entangled in a forbidden kiss that might ruin everything is at the center of the promo for the forthcoming Y&R week, which teases heartbreak, mistrust, and furious confrontations. It all begins with Holden Novak, who is attempting to balance his lies with half-truths as usual. In the opening scene of the weekly ad, Holden defends his choice to tell Claire Newman the truth about what actually happened with Audra Charles years ago. Holden's eyes convey the entire story. Dread, shame, and a seething effort to hide the true tragedy of that night. In one tense moment, Holden says sharply, "I had to tell her something," as Audra approaches him. "If I hadn't, she would have gone digging. And you know what happens when people start digging, Audra." Audra responds icily, saying, "You think she'll simply stop there? Holden, you just lighted the fuse." Their conversation sets the tone for the week. Secrets are coming to light, and the repercussions are lethal. And now we wait for the explosion. Adam Newman, meanwhile, is in a more subdued but no less explosive scenario across town. When he meets Chelsea Lawson, they start talking about Kane Ashby, who might be on the verge of losing everything. Adam looks down at the phone on his desk and murmurs, "Kane's company might not last the week," as if the news doesn't completely please him. Curious, Chelsea raises an eyebrow. "And you don't like the news?" Softly, she asks. "Adam, it ought to be. You've desired this for months." Adam lets out a breath and acknowledges that his win feels meaningless. Adam admits, "Because if Kane goes down like this, it means I'm just as ruthless as the man I swore I'd never become." However, Chelsea sees straight through him since Adam's guilt has never been about business. It has always been about his incapacity to quit ruining whatever he comes into contact with. All of it, however, is insignificant compared to what is going to happen in Los Angeles. Noah Newman has been attempting to reconstruct his life while in the hospital. His recuperation has been sluggish, with flashes of trauma and shame clouding his thoughts. His purported ally and becoming emotional crutch, Sienna Bacall, pays him unexpected visits. She slips into his room, whispering his name as if she's terrified of being heard, her black eyes full of concern. Noah whispers, "You shouldn't have come," but his tone betrays him. Seeing her brings comfort and warmth. "I had to," Sienna says, shaking her hands and adjusting his blanket without looking at him. "I was unable to sleep because I was worried about your well-being. Not with everything that has transpired. Trauma, secrets, and forbidden attraction have all contributed to their bond, which is both a blessing and a curse." Something unadulterated and indisputable moves between them as Noah reaches for her hand. They temporarily forget the peril, the deceit, and the impending threat posed by Matt Clark, the man Sienna refers to be her husband but who terrifies her like the devil. Before one of them can think, they lean forward as Noah raises his head and looks into her eyes. When their lips connect, it's a soft kiss at first, followed by a desperate one that conveys both shame and longing. At that point, Nick Newman enters the room. Nick freezes in mid-step as the door swings wide, his breath stopping in his throat as he takes in what he is seeing. His wounded and allegedly distraught son is kissing the wife of a man who almost ruined their family. His expression briefly becomes clouded by bewilderment before hardening into rage. "What on earth is this?" Nick yells, his voice resounding throughout the space. With terrified eyes, Sienna jerks away from Noah as if she's been scorched. Noah opens his mouth to say something, but it dies in his throat. "Dad, it's not what it looks like." Nick cuts him off with a tone as cold as glass. "Don't you dare. This is where I am standing. Don't belittle me by acting as though I didn't see it." The room's air becomes oppressive. Nick gives them both a fierce gaze as his protective instincts kick in. He snarls, You're lying in a hospital bed because of this woman's husband. And you consider this to be clever? Do you believe that kissing her is worth putting your life in danger for? Noah appears conflicted, defiant and humiliated at the same time. He murmurs, "You don't understand." Nick's face darkens. "You don't know what Matt's done. Then explain things to me. Tell me everything. Right now." However, neither Noah nor Sienna have the guts to tell the whole truth. Not about Matt's brutality, not about the twisted secrets that bind them all together, and most definitely not about the duration of this affair. As their quiet drags on, Nick's anger grows. "Okay," he finally hisses. "Please don't tell me." He runs away after saying, "But this doesn't stay secret," leaving Noah and Sienna horrified and shaken. When Nick returns to Genoa City and finds Sharon Newman cleaning up after the nightly rush at Crimson Lights, his rage hasn't subsided. Sharon can tell something horrible has happened just by looking at his face. "Nick," softly she asks, "what's not right?" "I walked in on Noah and Sienna kissing," he blurts out after taking a long breath and running a hand through his hair. The words hang in the air like a thunderclap. Sharon's face loses color and her jaw drops. She murmurs, "Please tell me you're kidding." Nick, however, simply shrugs his head. "I wish I was." Sharon reacts viscerally and right away. "Oh my God, Nick, if Matt finds out," he interrupts. "That's exactly what I'm worried about. Because Noah is not safe if that man knows." "None of us are," Sharon says, pacing as she tries to take in the scope of what she is hearing. "To what extent is it serious? How long has this been going on?" She insists. Nick lets out a sigh. "I'm not sure. They refuse to provide me with any information." However, Sharon, the expression in their eyes is nothing new. Sharon covers her mouth in fear, saying, "This has been going on for a while." She says slowly, "Then there's something else we need to ask. Is her spouse aware of this?" Both of them shudder at the question. Because Noah's injuries might not have been an accident if Matt Clark, now known as Mitch Bacall, had learnt of his wife's betrayal. Nick and Sharon share a terrified glance. They already know that Matt is violent, cunning, and dangerous. However, their worry now intensifies into full-blown panic, as they consider the potential that he injured Noah in retaliation. Matt is planning his next move across town. His voice is icy and authoritative as he meets with Detective Burrow. Matt gives the order, "I want that guard removed from Noah Newman's hospital room." Burrow hesitates before saying, "Now." He says anxiously, "That's not standard procedure." Matt has a deadly stare. "It's not a request. Do it." Burrow nods, obviously scared by his tone, which offers no space for disagreement. "Comprehended." A menacing grin appears on Matt's face as he leaves. Everything seems to be coming together for him. He has already taken advantage of everyone in his immediate vicinity, including Sienna, Noah, and even the authorities, and he is about to complete the task he began. He is unaware, however, that Nick Newman is on to him and won't stop until he has a clear understanding of the situation. Later that evening, Sharon is sitting by herself at home, staring into space, tormented by recollections of Matt's brutality and the suffering he had previously inflicted upon her family. She recalls Noah's earlier statements, in which he insisted that he was unable to recall the specifics of what transpired before to being discovered hurt. However, everything now makes sense. Sharon can feel the fear growing in her chest as the pieces come together. "Matt found out," she murmurs to herself. "Noah is in that hospital bed because of this." Meanwhile, Nick calls Los Angeles in a low, frantic voice. He introduces himself as Nick Newman to the nurse on the other end. The nurse hesitates before saying, "I need an update on my son's condition, and I want to know who's guarding his room." She says, "The officer who was stationed there earlier was just reassigned." Mr. Nick's blood runs cold. Bacall personally asked for it. "Damn it, Matt," he murmurs as he hangs up the phone. Unaware that danger is drawing nearer, Noah stirs in his bed back at the hospital. Nervous, Sienna comes back for a final visit. She murmurs, "Matt has been asking questions." Noah grabs her hand and says, "He knows something." "Then we flee," he declares angrily. Before they can move, the door creaks open, and Detective Burrow enters with an enigmatic expression. "We get out before he finds us," he says bluntly. "Sorry to interrupt, but I'm afraid visiting hours are over. His tone has a foreboding undertone, and Noah and Sienna exchange terrified looks. There's a problem. Fans will have more questions than answers after the week's credits roll. Will Nick make it to the hospital in time to save his son? Before it's too late, will Sharon discover Matt's scheme? Will Sienna eventually admit the whole truth, which is that Noah's life is actually in jeopardy because of her husband's wrath? One thing is certain. Secrets in the young and the restless don't remain hidden for very long. And now that Nick is aware of the illicit affair, Genoa City is ready to experience the full power of the storm that has been building. The world of Nick Newman is falling apart more quickly than he can keep it together. He is constantly reminded that his son has crossed a line that could result in his death by the sight of Noah and Sienna sharing that intense, careless kiss. Nick has experienced betrayals from family, friends, and business rivals in the past, but this is not like the others. His own family members are caught up in the same evil web that almost brought their family to ruin years ago. And now Matt Clark, or Mitch Bacall as he now refers to himself, the one guy capable of unimaginable violence, is once more looming large over their lives. As the weight of the discovery seeps in, the tension between the ex-couple intensifies in the dim light of Sharon's coffee shop. In an attempt to make sense of everything, Sharon paces back and forth. Are you certain you witnessed it? Her voice falters as she demands. You didn't misinterpret? Perhaps Sienna was consoling him? Nick's tone is harsh as he scoffs cruelly. Sharon, that wasn't consoling. It was a kiss. And not the accidental type. They were interested in it. Both of them. His words cut like glass through her. Sharon shakes her head in shock and puts her palm to her forehead. Oh my God, what has she done? Nick becomes really irritated. Sharon, what has he done? Noah is not a helpless child. He is aware of her identity and her marital status. And he continued to pursue her. Sharon's eyes flicker between fear and rage. Do you believe that this is what he desired? Do you think he's playing a game? She yells. You witnessed his broken state following the assault. He was too afraid to even close his eyes, as you could see. Yes, that girl is crazy, but Noah is lost, Nick. All he's doing is clinging to someone who gets it. Nick but doesn't think so. He has witnessed and experienced too much to accept justifications. No, Sharon. Sharon stops pacing and her eyes widen. I think he's in over his head, and if we don't do something, Matt's going to find out and finish what he started. The name itself seems to be a curse. Matt, she murmurs again in a terrified tone. She is all too familiar with the deceit, cruelty, and manipulation that man is capable of. The thought of his threats makes Sharon's whole body tight. Nick, Noah isn't safe in that hospital if he knows or suspects. Nick gives a gloomy nod. I'm thinking exactly that. Back in Los Angeles, a tempest of guilt rages inside Noah as he lies awake in his hospital bed and stares at the ceiling. He sees Nick's face every time he shuts his eyes. The disappointment, the anger, the treachery. He understands that his father has every right to be upset, but he is unable to feel sorrow for what transpired with Sienna. Their bond goes beyond ordinary infatuation or lust. It is something darker and more profound, derived from risk and trauma. No one else has the same understanding of him as Sienna. Silent as a shadow, Sienna creeps back into the room. Her face is pale, her eyes big and nervous, and she's wearing a sweatshirt. Noah says softly but firmly, "You shouldn't be here." She gives a head shake. She approaches and says, "I had to see you. Matt is behaving strangely. He spent the entire night on the phone." Despite the pain pouring through his side, Noah sits up and says, "I think he knows something." Then, "Sienna, you must leave this place. Before he follows you, leave." Sienna, however, is unable to depart. With a broken voice, she takes Noah's hand. "I can't simply leave. He'll locate me. He does it every time." Tears well up in her eyes as she says, "And now that Nick saw us." Noah gives her a firm squeeze. He says softly, "Hey, look at me. I'll keep you safe. I will not allow him to harm you." Sienna laughs a little bitterly. "Everyone says that before he ruins them." She continues, pausing and quivering. "Noah, you don't know him the way I do. He does more than just harm others. He gradually and totally destroys them. Now that your father is involved, he's already suspicious of what transpired between us in Genoa City. They both startle at an unexpected sound coming from the hallway before she can finish. Noah's instincts take over right away. Ignoring the pain as he rises to his feet, he murmurs, "Get behind me." It's not Matt, but the door creaks open. Once more, Detective Burrow appears uncomfortable. He adds stiffly, "Sorry to interrupt." Mr. Noah squints. "Bacall asked me to check on you. How am I doing?" "Or silence me." Burrow doesn't respond. His eyes dart from Noah to Sienna and back again. He indicated there was no longer a need for the security outside your room. Sienna's heart quickens as she hears complaints from hospital workers regarding the crowded hallway. Did he take down the guard? She poses a pointed question. Burrow pauses. He thought it was best for privacy, he says in a tight voice, and his avoidance of eye contact gives them all the information they require. With a look of panic on her face, Sienna turns to face Noah after he left. "We must depart." Noah nods, but his phone buzzes before they can come up with a strategy. Nick is saying, "Remain where you are. I will return." Noah lets out a sigh of relief. He says, "Dad is on his way." Sienna, however, shakes her head. "Matt will see him if he comes here. He will be fully informed. You have no idea how deadly he is, Noah." Nick has already returned to Genoa City and is driving like a man possessed. His mind is racing with worst-case scenarios, and his knuckles are white on the steering wheel. He can't stop thinking about what the nurse said, which was that Matt had asked for the guard to be taken off. There is a serious problem. His voice is tight with panic as he dials Sharon once more. He declares, "I'm going to LA." Sharon encourages him to exercise caution, saying, "If Matt has made a move, I'm not letting Noah face it alone." She cautions, "Nick, don't confront him alone." Nick responds in a low, determined tone, "You don't know what he's planning. It doesn't matter to me. I will never again allow that monster to get close to my son." Holden Novak, meanwhile, is experiencing a moral dilemma. The tension between him and Audra is evident as they meet in the darkness outside the Grand Phoenix. Audra hisses, her eyes flaming, "You told Claire. Are you aware of what you've done?" Holden defensively crosses his arms. Audra scoffs, "I didn't tell her everything. That is irrelevant. She will continue to dig till she discovers the remainder. Do you believe she won't?" Holden's hair is obviously unraveling as he runs a hand through it. "I had to stop lying to her. Not after everything. We'll deal with it if she persists." Audra's face becomes stern. "We're done if she persists. The two of us." "Holden, do you think I'm afraid of the truth?" She continues, "I'm afraid of what happens after it comes out," implying that there is more to their shared secret than Claire even realizes. Back at the hospital, things quickly get worse. There is an unsettling silence in the hallway outside Noah's room. Sienna freezes as she looks through the glass window. "Noah," she murmurs in a shaky voice. The guard has left. Burrow is too. Noah scowls. "Perhaps he went to make a call," Sienna says, fiercely shaking her head. "No. This is the beginning of it." After clearing the corridor, he approaches whoever is still there. The lights flicker and they both freeze. A door crashes somewhere in the distance. In an attempt to see down the hallway, Noah limps over to the window. He murmurs, "We can't stay here." Sienna hesitates before saying, "Grab your things." "Where are we going?" "Anywhere he's not," is Noah's somber response. However, the door opens once more before they can flee, and this time it's not Burrow. It's Matt Clark. His eyes are as cold as steel, but his expression is serene, even charming. "Are you heading somewhere?" Softly, he asks. Sienna winces. "Matt." "Don't," he interrupts sharply. He enters and shuts the door behind him, saying, "Don't insult me with another lie. I am aware of what has been happening here. The visits at night. The murmurs. The kisses." His voice is poisonous. Noah's jaw tightens. He says, "Leave her alone."